This is a 15-gallon wilsoni fruitless olive. And it's important to know that unfortunately many growers have had their cuttings or their wilsoni so bastardized in the nursery that you can't really be sure whether you're getting a fruitless olive or a fruiting fruitless olive. We usually only send out trees that we've actually seen go season to season without any fruit on them, and we shop only from growers that have trees certified fruitless, particularly for Clarks County in Nevada and going into Mariposa County in Arizona. You can only send in fruitless olives. So wilsoni are fruitless. Unfortunately, the production process of having all these trees moved around the nurseries has really messed that up. This is really actually the size of a 24-inch box fruitless olive. This is a very large 15-gallon. You shouldn't necessarily expect to get a 15-gallon fruitless olive or low branching as big as this. This is about 1/3 larger than normal. Just happened to be a very handy specimen to pull aside here for the video. One of the primary differences of the fruitless olives versus your regular olive trees is the size of the foliage. Have the Quarantina olive tree on the right here, and I'll come in a little bit closer. You can see the Quarantina branch or the foliage here a little bit larger, more broad than the wilsoni foliage. The fruitless olives tend to have more narrow and sometimes longer foliage. Majestic Beauty has shorter foliage but about the same width as wilsoni. These trees grow just as quickly, if not occasionally a little bit faster, than the fruiting trees, and tend to be much more dense than the regular olives. Fruiting olives tend to be more open, but because you have the smaller foliage of these trees and a more denser bushy habit, you should expect that these trees, when they're smaller, can be used effectively for screening, and you can eventually thin them out to develop the trunks more. The trunk or the wood of the tree will take on the same olive-esque characteristics of the fruiting trees. Yeah, it'll age out well, it'll begin to look weathered. The primary difference in the end, though, is just the foliage and, of course, no fruit. This is very handy around pavement areas. Also, these trees are sterile, so you don't have the problem with olive pollen. There are people or communities of people who are very sensitive to the pollen produced by olive trees. So that's a distinct advantage for these trees.